Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And before I get into anything, I just want to say that I'm actually really excited to do this review because if I haven't mentioned it before, Batman is probably my favorite character. I've probably seen every bit of Batman content I can and try to read as many of the stories or catch up on the stories as much as possible. And I actually have the comic that the review I'm doing today is based off of, which is right here. So, what I'm reviewing today is Batman The Long Halloween Part 1 and 2. And before I get into it, I just want to say please like, subscribe, comment, click that notification bell, turn that notification bell on, and please share this video with friends, family, whoever. So, this movie stars a star-studded voice cast of people. It's Jensen Ackles, Naya Riveria, Billy Burke, Josh Duhamel, alum voice actor Troy Baker, and Jack Quaid. Now, let's get into it. So, like I said before, I'm actually doing a joint review of this, and the reason being is I actually seen this as more of a one large movie, and even though they broke it up into like hour and a half, hour 20-minute movies, I definitely see this as an ongoing story because they also pick up right where they left off when the second one starts. So I just see this as a conjunction of a long 3-hour long animated movie. So that's just a little bit and why I'm doing it together, and because it also takes after the comic where it's just one long story over this time period of, based off the name, The Long Halloween. So that's just a little insight into that. Now, getting into this, I am completely biased. Like I just said, I love this character. So for me, this was everything I wanted. Given the fact that the DC animated side has started to do new animation and stuff like that, it's taken me a while to get used to the new animation, given the fact that I've seen all these prior movies. One of my favorite is Batman Under the Red Hood. So it just took a minute for me to get used to the animation style. But with this one, both of these movies, I'm right on board. It's so smooth and so minimalist with how they animated. I really do love it. So the movie looks great and the animation looks great. Another thing that I liked is the voice cast that they selected for these characters was amazing. I love Jensen Ackles, especially from like Supernatural. He's got a really distinct voice, and actually I don't think they let him play his voice up as much as they could have, because with Supernatural in the later seasons you could tell that the grasp and the grovel of his voice got deeper, and you could really tell that he had that gravitas of a voice, and they don't let him play this up as much, and so that's just a thought process on my behalf. But otherwise, really great casting. Another great casting for Harvey Dent was actually Josh Duhamel, who does a great job of playing this unhinged, right on the edge character who eventually falls over into the deep end. And you can tell in his voice acting from the beginning to the end where he changes, where it goes from honorable man trying to do the right thing to this eventually person who's been broken and eventually gets broke and turns into this unfortunate villain. But with all that said, the main part of this movie that really works is the story. It is much slower, just like the comic that it's based off of, and it really takes time to unfold. And as a person who's read the comic and knows the story, it still grips me and kept me engaged the whole entire 2 movies, 3 hours or so. And for someone who doesn't know the story, I can really think that you will be able to be engaged and be surprised by the twists and turns that the story takes. So the story and the writing were spot on and amazing. And what I also like about this movie is the fact that they add things to kind of like pump up the action as well and buffer the fight scenes and whatnot. But they also try to make the story their own and not do a carbon copy of the comic, because the comic is considered a classic. So it was a big task on bringing this story to life, and they really did a good job of making the story up their own, but also staying true to the essence and what the story meant. And another aspect of making it their own, the setting really felt like a place out of time where it was timeless, and with the gothic setting and the aesthetic, it sort of felt like the Batman animated series, where it had a very strict and defining tone that you knew it as soon as you saw it. And I really felt this with this movie, and it just felt timeless, from the cars and the city, the feel of Gotham. I really enjoyed it. So, and I also really enjoyed the fact that this is a story that kind of like shows the transformation of Gotham and also the transformation of Batman, because in this it is apparently clear that he is just starting off as Batman, and he is learning his way through this. He makes mistakes. He has to figure things out on the fly and really develop his skills and hone his skills as a detective. And it also shows a transformation of Gotham. From the story in the comic, you can also tell that Gotham is going from this mob boss controlled city to a land controlled by the freaks, such as villains from Poison Ivy, Joker, Solomon Grundy, the Penguin, and eventually Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. And you can really feel that transformation happening from the beginning of the first movie, part 1, to the ending of part 2, where Harvey has completely changed. So, all in all, I absolutely adored this movie. I love this movie. I can't wait to have both of them on DVD and put them back right here. So, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 4. Obviously, I really love this movie. So, please tell me, what is your favorite Batman movie? Please comment that below. Let me know. Whatever it is, like, subscribe, comment below, hit that notification bell, and like always, I'll see you next time.